It looks like a beautiful day in Phoenix, and it's a big day of NASCAR here on FS1. Coming up at 12:30 Eastern, we've got practice from Phoenix, and it all leads up to the race Sunday on Fox. Baker Mayfield is clearly a confident kid. He discussed his experience at the Combine with Sports Illustrated, and he said he aced the tests given by teams, including the Broncos, during interviews. During the meetings, he had to break down plays on a whiteboard. Mayfield also told teams that he's not Johnny Manziel, and when asked about his attitude, said, quote, "There's a fine line between being an arrogant a-hole and being a confident kid." Fine line.
Broncos going to take him. They're going to take him.
You
know it. It's
I wonder
coming.
which one he think he is.
Oh, I think he just said it. What's your takeaway from all of that?
I see a guy in reading this article that still doesn't get it, Skip. I get it. But you brought these comparisons on yourself. There's a reason why Andrew Luck was compared to Peyton Manning. Both of their fathers played in the NFL. They said Andrew Luck was a more athletic Peyton Manning, could throw the ball from the pocket.
Yep.
So they had more similarities, so that was the comparison.
Okay.
When you do things that a guy just 2 years, 3 years before, the mistakes that he made, and they see you follow those similar mistakes, the comparison is going to be natural, Skip. That's just the way it is. That's the way it works.
Okay.
Baker, here's the thing. I would like to think if they say, okay, Baker, two-jet flanker drive, we like to run this play against cover 3 or cover 1. And this is what we want your progressions to be. They erase that off the board.
Yep.
And they start talking about you about a host of other things. I would like to think after about 8 or 9 minutes, you can go back to the board, draw that play up, and talk to them. Because guess what, Skip? That's what their quarterbacks do during the course of the season. As an offense, we have to know 125 plays. We have to know the coverages that we're normally going to call those plays in, and if we don't get that coverages, what the adjustment. As players, wide receivers, running backs, if we have to know that, don't you think the quarterback should? Don't you think the quarterback should have that kind of great recall?
So, are you questioning his
No,
recall?
he's talking about, oh, I aced it. Wow, one play. You're going to have to remember 130 during the course of the game after guys hit you upside the head. Now, remember, Von Miller going to hit you in your back. Because you think you're going to the Broncos, but he's not. Von Miller going to hit him in his back. Aaron Donald's going to hit him in his back. Khalil Mack's going to hit him in his face. Skip, he doesn't get it. You can't, I don't want to change. You got to change. You can't be grabbing your crotch. You're the quarterback now. You're not playing for room and board. You're playing for mortgages. So you can't be getting in trouble and being drunk and running from the police. So that has to change. You can't, that can't be you. I understand you want to be you, and I was very fortunate, Skip. I had guys that let me be me, but being me was talking trash, not getting in trouble, not grabbing my crotch across the field at opposing players. That's what he needs to get. Now you're about to be the CEO, the face of somebody's franchise.
You're right.
So that type of behavior, Baker, won't be tolerated.
Okay. I agree with you 1,000% on all the potential Johnny Manziel stuff. And there's a whole lot of it that would scare me to death. But if you just evaluate him as a football player, as a quarterback, I give him high marks and the highest marks of anybody potentially draftable right here, right now. Any of those 3 other big-time quarterbacks. Let's throw Lamar in there also. Make it 4.
Right.
I'm still taking Baker Mayfield. And I believe everything he said in there because he can talk a big game and he backs up a big game because I believe he blew away every team that put him on the whiteboard. High IQ. I watched every snap he took at the University of Oklahoma. This was next level stuff they were doing. This was not some old run and shoot, dink and dunk, run after catch.
Hold up the cards.
No. And it's not like quick passes up the seam, bing, bing, bing. That's not what they're doing. They're running complex route trees down the field, mid-range, long range, bombs away. And I believe what he said is true, that a lot of teams were picking his brain just to see how they did it at Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley, who's a young, dare I say, he's got some genius about him. I didn't love his play calling against Georgia in the semifinal, but I love the concepts of his offense. And he brought it to Bob Stoops. Remember, he was the coordinator before he took over as the head coach. So I believe he blew them away. I think he wowed the Denver staff. And I think they're going to be really torn because they know he can really walk the talk on the whiteboard when it's time to play football. And remember what he did. Look at these numbers. They're not phony numbers. They're not exaggerated. Look at 43 touchdowns last year to 6 interceptions. Best touchdown to interception ratio in all of college football with 300 or more attempts. Look at the QBR, the total QBR the last 2 years. He led the nation back-to-back years in total QBR. That's not blip. That's a trend.
I don't know about you, Skip, but Joy, there were plenty of times I've taken tests. I said, I aced that test. When I got it back, they didn't have an A on there. It wasn't no ace. But you know what I wonder, Joy? You think
ace these tests?
How about this here, Joy? You think
and you know what? Wait. You know what? You said, can you remember the play 10 minutes later?
Yeah.
This is the kid who will not only remember the play, he'll make it better. He'll say, you guys should have done this. You should have tweaked with this route or this little nuance to it. Trust me, they're doing stuff that nobody else is doing in college football. This is why the Denver Broncos are sitting there like this.
No, they're
John
not.
Elway knows.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I wonder though, Joy. You think they're asking? What's your orientation? You like me? You think they hold on? You think they ask him what his mama do?
We don't know.
No, but I think they ask him a whole lot of hard
asked
questions.
that.
No, we don't.
So
You know that? I feel comfortable. You know this.
you feel confident about the Broncos?
Of all the players that's ever been asked these inappropriate questions, there's a common denominator here. I'm not saying that all.
Sure is.
I'm just saying, though, Skip. No, look, if the Broncos take him, they take him. But knowing John,
You don't think they ask this kid hard questions?
I don't
About
think
his nightlife, about his dating life.
Yeah.
'Cause there are a whole bunch of questions going on.
What dating?
Trust me.
Whether you date, dating is one thing. But when you come out and blatantly ask someone about their orientation,
Okay, that's a whole. But trust me.
yeah, they should. Skip.
I know there's some things I don't want to get into, but there's some things going on here too that he got asked about, and he's like, well, because he brought it on himself. You know, he's got to ask.
He got Skip. He was intoxicated. The police stopped him, and he took off running.
And got knocked into a wall.
I should ask you about that.
You better. Yeah.
I should ask you what's going through your head as you grabbing your crotch up on the sideline against opposing teams. I should ask you that. That's very relevant.
Okay. All right.
Well, he said there's a fine line between the two. I don't know if you can see it. Tiger Woods is making a major move
here we
today.
go.
We'll discuss that next.